Welcome back, tech heads and gadget gurus, to another episode of Tech Times Daily, where once again we got something to talk about. Today I'm your host, Chris Short, and joining me as always is the ultimate tech head, Christian Tejedis. Christian, how's it going, my man?
Good. How are you, Chris? How's everyone?
I'm good. Thanks. How's it going, YouTube? Uh, yeah, so today there's a lot of it's a Friday, right? There's a lot of shit that we could cover today.
Yeah.
Just
Felt
just
like
to
people
peek.
want to get it felt like people want to go through the weekends and just end it all today.
Yeah, to pique everyone's interests and hopefully send them over to Tech Times. There's a lot of good stories over there. There's the FBI has some things going on. They made an announcment. They're trying to um, put some warnings out. Um,
Yeah.
it's
Dell
Mother's
made a
Day.
Dell made a statement on the data breaches.
Yeah, the weaponizing of AI for elections. It's Mother's Day. We've compiled a nice little list in case you haven't shopped yet, which you probably
Shame
should.
on you.
It's on Sunday yet.
It's
Good
almost
luck.
Mother's Day.
Yeah, good luck finding something in the next 2 days, but it's hard to shop for a mother.
Yeah. Because they
Uh,
don't ask for much.
yeah, they don't. And it's like, I mean, you can't buy them motherly things because, they already have
Unless
them.
your son is Manny Pacquiao. So
True. True. Yeah. I mean, you just buy her a Mercedes. And I mean, nobody complains with a Mercedes, right? But um, but yeah, there's some good ideas over there for some tech gifts for, mother, you know, kind of mother-based tech gadgets and things. So yeah, if you have time, run over there and check that out. We also covered a lot of stuff about states. California's using AI. I think Pennsylvania's doing some shit, but Illinois has declared a new holiday in the state of Illinois. Well, I don't know if you call it a holiday. It may be a day of punishment. I'm not. Depends on how you look at it.
hey, punch.
Yeah, it could be like the worst possible day, depending. But coming to us from Aldon is this. I think it's an interesting story. I think there's quite a bit of meat on this bone, Christian. Um, but yeah, let's jump into the article really quick. I'll read the first few lines here. So May 17 is officially Take a Break from Social Media Day in Illinois. Senator Sue Resin's proposal to give Illinois residents a break from social media has officially been passed by the Senate, designating May 17 as Take a Break from Social Media Day. Her resolution propose a designated day and reference CDC data showing suicide as the second most common cause of death for those between the ages of 10 and 14 and 20 and 34. Now, the American Psychological Association's research, which she also highlighted, revealed that young adults who cut back on social media by 50% for a few weeks experienced notable improvements in their perceptions of their general appearance and weight. So, along with this resolution, residents put forth several other legislative proposals to address the negative effects of social media on the Illinois people. It says Illinoisans. I don't know if that's the word, and it's really hard to say. These include establishing a Privacy Rights Act that outlines businesses' obligations to protect the privacy of their customers' personal information and pursuing internet safety education for students. So, Christian, my first question to you is, yeah,
Yeah.
yay or nay?
Good luck. Like
Yeah,
no one's gonna be following this. Like it should be turn up the Wi-Fi day.
yeah,
Like whether you're on social media or not, there are different forms of it online.
yeah. It's
Social
every
media is the tip of the iceberg. Like
Yeah. Social media is the things that are on the internet that people talk about. There's a lot of stuff there that no one talks about.
Yeah. So might it be just better just turn off the Wi-Fi day? Like,
Well, I think
and
this is
the study that they did, I guarantee you it's a control group and they were forced to not use social media. So
well, I'll tell you one thing from personal experience. For New Year, I went out of town and I went to a place where there wasn't much reception, right? Like as far as 5G or whatever. And we stayed with people who had internet and things, but I just didn't ask for the password.
yeah.
And I turned my phone off. This is the second time in probably the last 3 years, I guess, that I've just turned my phone off for a handful of days, with between 3 and 5 days each time. And I have to tell you, man, there's a noticeable difference in attitude and um, just the overall like how you feel. Like it's really refreshing to do kind of a digital detox.
Yeah, if anyone can check my Facebook page, they can see when I was last online on Facebook and when I last actually used it. Like I think my last post there was actually back in 2013. So I'm pretty much divorced from social media before, until
Right.
now. So it is hard at the start, but there are
Yeah.
people who don't get addicted to it that well, that quick. But I think it's much harder now since a lot of people have been using it for finance, for financial purposes. Like some
Yeah.
people, these are where they're getting their paper. This is how they eat. So
Yeah.
just one day away from actually social media posting could cost them a lot.
It could. And I mean,
Even if
it's
it's
kind
not a lot, there's the illusion that they are losing out.
of true. It's like, yeah, it's like, well,
Sometimes
uh,
it's FOMO,
that's true. FOMO would be a big factor here
right?
for sure. Yeah.
And
It'll be
people
interesting
in
to
the
see.
government, people in the government get their news from social media. Now, what are they
Right.
gonna do after it's shut down?
I mean, in all fairness, it is just one day,
One
right?
day, it- which would be inconsequential if it was 10 years ago.
Right. And oddly enough, this is a Friday, which I find strange. May 17th is actually a Friday. So I don't see like maybe a Tuesday, maybe.
That's why I said good luck.
Yeah. But I mean, okay, so let's step away from the obvious, right, that no one's probably going to follow this. Is this a good place to begin though? To for, because or is social media so much a part of our lives that to even suggest such a thing is just kind of ridiculous at this point?
I think some people actually manage to justify their addictions and turn them into businesses. That's basically it. They have been so dependent on that it actually assimilated into their lives and made it normal.
Okay, well, let's say these teenagers, right? You have small children. I have a teenage girl. My daughter actually does a self-limitation, right? She'll do something. She'll do some type of hobby with it. I seen her one day. She was just folding these little stars, this paper into stars, and she was going to fill a bottle. And I was like, "What are you doing?" She's like, "Anything so that I don't pick my phone up." So I mean, there are children, right? Obviously, that
Yeah.
have that foresight and that discipline. But
Yeah.
I
First of
think
all,
it's safe to
children
say a
shouldn't
lot,
have
maybe
phones.
not.
Children shouldn't have phones and social media accounts. That's the thing.
But they do.
Yeah, they do.
So, so do you think that this is, I mean, at least Senator Resin is
They're just doing
doing
something,
something.
which is more than anyone actually. Like
Yeah,
if they're gonna be implementing it, like I think it's a good idea in spirit. Like
right,
there is an argument to be made when it comes to detoxing for addiction. Like
right.
this is social media has now become a habit. Some people first thing before they do before they actually wake up is not actually open their eyes, but reach for their phones, right? Guilty. So,
Guilty.
so
But I check work though when I wake up. I check messages and emails. But it's not an excuse.
basically, it's basically still social media, right?
Yeah, it's not an excuse, but it is true. I don't go straight to social media. I do go to email and then messages. But other than that, yeah, first thing in the morning before I my feet hit the floor, I'm on
Yeah,
my phone.
unless the entire household actually cooperates with this one. And it's not supposed to be just one day. I actually impose limits to social media with my kids. Like they can only watch Netflix for about 2 hours, and they can only none of them have social media accounts actually.
Mhm.
I have YouTube synced in with my Google account, so I know what they're watching. And there are limits to how long they can actually hold the phone. So it starts with the household, not necessarily the government.
It does. It does. It does. But I think yeah, and I agree with you 100%. Like this is, and we talked about this, it's parenting is the most important
We,
thing.
we we do the entire Earth Day thing every year. It never actually helps. Like it only
Nobody
turns off
turns anything off.
the malls turn off their air conditioning. It's a bother for every patron that they have.
Yeah, yeah,
It's
yeah.
I
So
don't see a sense in it. Like we've already spent our money in your malls. At least give us air conditioning.
yeah, it's not really your fight, right? Like, but I mean, I guess whatever, right? I guarantee you, the person that turns the air condition that makes the decision to turn the AC off in the mall doesn't turn the AC off in their house,
No.
and they don't go to the mall that day. But I mean, like, so kind of my question, like you said, it's a good idea, and it may be not a great idea,
There are
but
lots
it's
of
it's very far from a bad idea.
yeah, it's nice to see flying cows until it's actually shits on you, right?
Right.
So there are good ideas, but are actually impossible to actually implement on a wider scale, such as a state.
Hmm.
So if you think about it, I can understand where they're coming from. But again, it has to start with the household.
Yeah.
It and not only the household, I think the school should be implementing this because I don't know about the schools there in the US, whether kids can actually bring their phones into the classrooms or in their bags. I don't know the
Sure
culture
they
of
can.
right?
I'm sure.
So
Yeah, for sure.
the school should be training the kids when it comes to the responsibilities of having a social media account as well as having a device.
Right. I mean, my daughter goes to school here, you know what I'm saying? And she be posting videos from inside the classroom all the time.
See,
Like, yeah,
like the
yeah.
teachers are even in on it.
Mm,
Like,
that was kind of my point in the first question was like, is this kind of like, just like like they said, like a drop in a bucket, right? Like social media is so ingrained in the majority. When I say our lives, I mean like as humans. Um, that honestly to suggest a social media, what is it? Break from social media day, take a
yeah,
break. Um,
you know when we need actually a break from social media? During the 3 months before the election. I dare them to actually ask people to turn off their social media because it's kind of hypocritical of them to actually ask people shy away from social media when the majority of their campaign ads are going to be played in them.
mhm.
So what? We're going to be ignoring that? Like,
And if I could make a more gruesome point, I guess maybe gruesome's the right word. Um,
no.
they can't get people in Illinois to stop killing each other.
Jesus Christ.
You know what I mean? Like people
Yeah.
every weekend in Chicago, people just drop dead all over the place. They're getting murdered, shot, stabbed, robbed.
I don't
You know,
even know if my reaction was the right one, but
maybe you weren't quite
Christ,
expecting it, but
Chris.
maybe the May 17th should be take a break from crime day.
We have that. We call that the Manny Pacquiao fight.
Here,
It
Chicago, I
sounds
don't think.
silly. It sounds silly when you hear about it, but in reality, The
Well, the
crime
whole
rate
country,
drops to zero here in the Philippines when Manny
whole country
Pacquiao had a
shuts
fight.
down.
Yeah, so
Yeah. Deliveries drop to zero.
yeah,
Um, yeah,
and we're fine with it.
alcohol sales skyrocket. That's about
See, it can be done with
it
enough
can.
motivation.
Well, short of, Michael Jordan making a return to the Bulls, I don't see Chicago chilling out anytime soon.
Yeah, again, going back to this day that they want to commemorate as what's it called? Bye
Take a
bye
break.
social
Yeah,
bye bye
basically.
social media day.
It's the don't say social media bill, like the don't say gay.
I think it's much easier just turn off the Wi-Fi day for most. Like
I think we're too dependent on it now. Like that's the reason I think it's the same reason they can't do turn off the Wi-Fi is same reason that take a break from social media is just
but that's the
it's
thing. Adults can actually at least have a bit of are much more conscientious when it comes to these kinds of things. But kids, they're if you give them an inch, they'll take a mile. So
well, the surprising thing to me is that this passed.
it sounds good when it comes to a campaign ad. It will
It,
pass. It looks good in a resume,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
Overtly positive.
It's something she did for the state.
Like even
Do you
declaring
think
it
there's a
actually.
so this is statewide, right? This is very small, which is kind of the beauty of the US, right? Like one state does it, see how it goes. They
What are the
could
health benefits, by the way, regarding this?
uh basically it gives you if you stay off of social media for any amount of time, it gives you a boost kind of in self appreciation or whatever.
They didn't actually mention the relapse before that, and
The
the
relapse.
anxiety and the shivers, like
Oh, before.
it's like any other addiction.
Well, I don't know, man. Like I've been addicted to things. I'm addicted to cigarettes now. I've had my fair share of addictions, and I would go as far as to say because I do it without thinking, like with the phone. Um, but these days, when I did the digital detox, like I went to the beach a couple years ago and didn't turn my phone on for like a week. Bro, I felt great. Like I don't know how to describe it, but it is a noticeable positive difference.
Yeah, and it helps you actually to focus on your schedule for the day. It actually opens up your entire day to you.
Well, I was on vacation. I just sat on the
Yeah,
beach and drank beer. Like I didn't have, but it was like I was able to like look up, if that makes sense, rather than doing this shit or like, oh, that would look good. You take a
yeah, but
picture. It's
coming
like I
from
just
someone
I
that
lived in the moment.
yeah, because coming from someone that actually is not in tune with social media and haven't used gadgets for a very long time, I have my full day opened up because of it. Like usually the problem with actually handling a gadget is usually you procrastinate,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. You can
So
lose hours
you can lose
for sure.
hours.
Yeah,
Without it, you
yeah,
probably can get shit done.
yeah.
Then kids have a very short attention span.
Yeah. But I mean, I think maybe this is for the younger for the parents with younger children, right? Like if there was a take a break from social media day, and your parents took it serious, like they
Yeah.
realized, for example, that this could be an issue in the future. Like they may say, "Oh, my son is 4 years old; it's not an issue now." Well, it could be. So you could actually take this time, take this kind of this boost that the senator from Illinois has given you, and instill in a young person the importance of taking like a day away from the internet. Be like, look, it's national, or it's not even national yet. It's just statewide.
But I think they should have rolled it out first to the schools rather than do it statewide, inch by inch. Have the schools implement it. Like the schools can pretty much impose anything on the students, but sometimes parents can be a bit soft when it comes to their kids, right?
Yeah,
If your
yeah,
child
yeah,
suddenly rolls on the floor and cries, they don't
yeah.
spank kids there in the West,
Right. Well,
like
you can't.
how we do parenting here in the East. Like sooner or later parents will be giving in just to keep the peace and maintain the quiet in their homes. But in school, I think they can roll it out at the start at every school
Mm,
just to for kids to actually be acclimated that hey, there's a day here when we don't actually use our phones or social media. And so
right.
maybe it will spill over to the homes. Like the kids might suddenly be influencing the parent, like, hey, we have this kind of thing in school. It might be fun if we actually do this here at home.
Maybe. I mean, it really depends on the age of the kid we're talking about, right? Like younger, I think this is kind of what it's for, is more focused toward the younger generation. Because these teenagers don't give a shit what day it is. You know what I'm saying? It's like it's trash day. They don't care. They're not taking it out to the curb. These things don't, you think about a high school.
Yeah, that's why I said this is just in
Yeah.
spirit. Like,
Well, yeah, it's a great notion. I agree with it. I think it should be. I mean, a global no social media day would be great, just like Earth Day. Um, at least there's that initiative, right? There's something that's out there that's like it's just like recycling, right? Please recycle, please recycle, please. Not everybody recycles, but some people do, and it does make a difference.
yeah, and for some people, this doesn't feel like a celebration or a holiday. This feels like a punishment. Like,
Yeah, it's like, damn it.
like
Yeah,
it's not gonna be like Dre Day that we had recently when he received his Walk of Fame star. Like
right,
people are not gonna be sipping gin and juice here during that holiday. So
right. Very, very true. But we'll see if it goes nationwide or even global. It'll be interesting to follow. But yeah, I mean that
I have a
wraps it
question
up.
for you. I
Go
have a
ahead. I'm
question
sorry.
before
Yeah,
we actually leave. Is there a specific holiday that you would want? If there ever was one holiday that you would like to be implemented, no matter how silly it is, what would it be?
this is like the if you had one superpower
Yeah.
question. There was a holiday. If I could have any holiday, which one would I choose? Oh shit. Such a hold on. You gotta let me think, man. I don't want to give the wrong answer. Um, so holiday as in I don't have to work, no school, all that.
Any kind of holiday you want to impose. Let's say you're the mayor here. What would you want to declare today?
Damn it, man. There's so many. Like there's the ones flooding from my childhood where it's like ice cream for dinner day would be great. Uh, I don't know. That's what about you? You have one?
Yeah,
What's that?
douchebag pass day. Like you're allowed to be a douchebag one time for that day.
Oh shit, you're talking about like the fucking like
Yeah.
the purge.
You can be a dick for one time for that day. And if someone gets pissed, you can just raise up your hand. I use my douchebag pass for this day.
And then the next day is like whoop somebody's ass with no repercussions day. And it's like, damn it,
No,
all you douchebags. Uh yeah, maybe that would be interesting. Like a complete like a day where you are not allowed to lie.
not allowed to lie.
Yeah,
Damn it.
not at all.
Not a
Like,
single politician press conference will be heard.
oh no, they'll crawl back in whatever, yeah. But
The
yeah,
media
like
would grind to a halt.
it would be punishable by law if you lie.
Why is CNN suddenly blank?
Yeah. Oh, it's all of a sudden it's take a break from news media day because they can't say anything. All the news is out.
Yeah. To our Tech Times viewers, we'd like also to push forward that question to you guys. If ever there was a holiday that you want to be implemented, what would it be? Just for one day, if you could be the mayor of your state.
Or
Please leave
actually,
it in the
like
comments below.
I think now that I'm thinking about I've thought about it for a second. Like, I would like for it to be a positive holiday, right? Like, obviously, shouldn't lie anyway, but we do every day, I'm sure. I don't think I've lied today yet. But I mean, I lie almost every time somebody's like, "How are you?" And I say, "I'm great." Not always
No
great.
one's ever great.
Yeah, yeah. It's just, I'm great. How are you? And it's like,
Like
"Oh, me too." And we're
I
both
think
like,
George Carlin said it best. Like the best answer you can provide with that is just fairly decent.
"Yeah, surviving." Actually, surviving is what if I'm asked by an
Breathing,
English person, maybe so I'm
breathing.
surviving. Yeah. Um, but maybe like a holiday where you just give something away. Just give somebody, anybody, just give them something. Doesn't matter what it is.
You know,
And if
you know what?
everybody gave everybody else something,
You know what would be funny? All divorce hearings would actually be scheduled on that day.
yeah. You're like, wait, when is my divorce hearing? Oh, it's May the 10th? No, change that. Change that. I'm not giving that bitch shit more than yeah. But that is interesting. But yeah. But alrighty. Well, that was a pretty good discussion, I guess. I think we're in agreement that it's a good idea, but
Yep. It all depends on the people that are actually gonna be whether they're gonna be following this, whether it's gonna be effective.
hmm.
Otherwise, this is just political posturing, someone padding up their resume for the next election. So
Well, if they could do it in some way where it was like a promotional thing, right? Where like there was some benefit to it, other
and I
than
think and I think the mayor is not actually duplicitous. It feels like she's actually genuine with this. But
the senator,
yeah, it feels so it just feels so kumbaya that actually people would actually follow this just because you declared it.
right? I mean, what else was May 17 before that? Nothing, I don't think.
And
But
hopefully people actually follow it. That's the thing.
yeah, for sure. Well, before we wrap up, I do want to wish everyone a happy Mother's Day. It's in a couple
Happy
days.
Mother's Day.
And but well, yeah, that's it for today's episode. Tune in again tomorrow for more updates and insights. Until then, stay curious, stay connected. For Christian Harris, I'm Chris Short. See you next time.